Hello everyone, welcome to another build guide video for Dream the Demon. Today I'm gonna be sharing by far the strongest Dream the Demon build you can make that lets you easily breeze through Dream the Demon like it's nothing. So this build is a battle mage focused build that excel in both melee combat and range combat so that you can deal with any circumstances at any time. So to start off with, this build uses the combination the Spirit of Samoset 5-piece or Gemini Omeo Mage, and I paired it up with the Benziton's Grace 6-piece, a grace that you can only get in during the Demon onwards difficulty. This is gonna be a magic focused build that's just gonna depend a lot on this set. The reason why Gemini Omeo is so good is because it gives you a lot of magic related bonuses that makes your Omeo shots do a ton of damage. 4-piece reduced defense makes you do even more damage against enemy who's been shot by Omeo. And 5-piece give you this sweet untouched Omeo magic, 15%, to let you use your Omeo way more often. Pairing this up with Benziton's Grace, one of the best graces in Dream the Demon. What you want is this 6-piece bonuses that gives you versatility, which lets you stack up to 9 stacks by using unique active skill. That gives you a total damage bonus of 60%, which is completely nuts and lets you just melt through any enemy. So pairing these two together, you basically get a build that lets you attack enemies through Omeo magic from range, but you also shreds when you attack enemy at melee range with your weapons. So with that out of the way, let's go step by step through each of the equipments. So let's focus on the melee weapon here. For melee weapon, you can use any melee weapon you want, preferably one with magic skilling like a switchblade, split staff, or hatchet, because we're gonna be running full magic. What you want on your weapon is definitely Benziton Grace on both of them, preferably an imbued purity or corruption, since they're like the best element in the game that you can apply on any enemy for confusion. And attack bonus magic, A+, max familiarity, for that sweet additional base attack, since we're gonna be running full magic. For the range weapon, you can use anything. What you really want to get is Benziton's Grace on both of them, and damage bonus agility, which will be applied to your weapon as well, even though it's on the range weapon. And since the Gemini Omeo Mage armor is fairly light, we're gonna be running with A agility, getting that sweet 3% bonus damage from that damage bonus agility. For the helmet, I'm running the Wild Boar Crest helmet. Again, you'll want it with Benziton's Grace. So the very specific reason for why this helmet is that right now I'm in the Honda clan. And by wearing this helmet plus the Honda plan, you get 100% on this unique bonuses called damage taken health on scathe. That basically makes you immune to any one-shot attacks when you're at full HP. And so even though we're wearing full light armor in this set, this makes us fairly tanky against enemy. And yeah, it's pretty hard to die in this build. Following up for the other armor, I'm running Gemini Omeo for all of them. So, chest, gauntlets, pants, and boots, they're all Gemini Omeo. As for what stats you want to get on your armor, first of all, you definitely want Omeo magic power and untouched Omeo. You can roll untouched Omeo on your chest and your pant on your gloves. However, for the other pieces, you'll have to find an inheritable, like on your gloves or chest with untouched Omeo, and put it onto your other pieces. And you can also just roll. You can just roll Omeo magic power normally on all the pieces. Furthermore, you'll want active skill damage rolled on all your pieces, preferably a star effect version like this. But it's definitely really rare, so don't count on getting it for every single pieces. And I also have elemental damage guarding on my helmet and my chest and my gloves, so that if I'm shooting enemy at a range and they throw a projectile at me, I can block it and take no damage from it. For the chest especially, you'll want life recovery and retail absorption. This is gonna be our major healing when we're doing close combat, and it's gonna make us survive really well and sustain any damage we take. If you get a orange inheritable and get another slot on your chest, I'd recommend getting elemental damage taken rolled on that last slot. And that just means you take like even less damage, so it's always good. And you also want a faster winded recovery, preferably on one of your pieces. So as you can see, I have it on my boots, but you can put it on anywhere you find a free slot to put it. For the armor, most of my armor is refined to get that additional defense. And for my helmet, I have it reinforced so that I get additional defense without investing too much points into stamina and strength. And for this setup especially, we definitely have enough stamina to get agility even when this piece of gear is reinforced with additional weights. Moving on to the accessory, you'll want either a Magatama or a Yasakane, like at least one Yasakane and either like a Magatama. Because you can roll untouched Omeo, Omeo magic power, as well as life recovery and retail absorption. Those are the three stats that you really want on your Yasakane and Magatama. The one Yasakane is really important because you want that set bonus requirement reduced -1, fixed effects, so that it allow us to get the 5-piece and the 6-piece Bensighten right here. Untouched Omeo magic and Omeo magic power is self-explanatory. Life recovery and retail absorption just give us that even more sustain with the life recovery on the chest, making us recover our HP super fast when we're fighting melee. And cherry on the top is defense bonus magic, giving us like additional 40 defense because we're going full magic. Moving on to the scroll, the necessity stat is definitely increased attack winded enemy. This gives us a 20% attack damage boost when enemy is out of key. It's just a really solid attack boost that you don't want to miss, so I'll definitely prioritize on the scroll. Another super good stat for this build is damage bonus Omeo magic power. That gives additional damage scaling off our Omeo magic power. Since we're going to be running full magic, we're getting a lot of damage from the bonuses, like 5 to 6% almost, which is just solid. The last stat can be anything. As you can see, my scroll got it untouched Omeo magic, which is I would consider a god roll for this build. Other good stat like Omeo magic power or extended dodge and vulnerability is also good consideration. So now that we've gone over through the gears, let's go through to the stats. As you can see, I purposely kept my level to 200 so that to show that this build is achievable with a low level cap. And this build is definitely viable at 200. So the very specific stats that you want to focus on is definitely putting 99 into magic, because that's going to be your main damage source. It's definitely the magic stats and your Omeo shots, as well as both your weapons like have that attack bonus magic. I have my skill to 27 and constitution to 35 for my armor requirements, because I have my Gemini Omeo armor sets set to refine. Stamina 20 and like 6 strength is necessary to get 30% equipment weight, 8 agility in this case. I put some points into hard and courage just for the key recovery and maximum key for melee combat, and 15 dexterity for quick change scrolls. That's really all you need for this build, and any other additional stat it's free to allocate. After that, let's go over the Guardian Spirit and Soul Core of choice. So for Guardian Spirit, I definitely recommend using Genbu. He's just like one of the perfect spirit for Omeo magic. Genbu gives you hyper armor during Omeo magic casting, so you don't get interrupted. Damage taken and elemental damage taken is always good for more tankiness. And you get that sweet anima bonus Omeo magic hit that's gonna give us a ton of anima after we use our Omeo shots, letting us like easily get access to our soul core abilities. For secondary, it's really optional, whatever you want. I'm using High Ambition here just because he's one of the spirit you're gonna get through the main mission, and he's a brute. So I can parry enemies with burst attack against some burst attack that Phantom cannot parry. For the Soul Core choice, I definitely recommend putting Royal Metsukuna. This guy is just built perfectly for Omeo 2 with Anima bonus Omeo magic hit and Anima bonus enemy confused. He's just a solid spirit that applies both fire and water, and does a ton of damage and super fast on cast. Preferably you want Life Drain Yokai ability hit, so that your Roman can just restore you back to full health after one cast, which is pretty nuts. I'm also using Kaisha here, because Kaisha is really some scroll core that lets you attack from range. Paired up with your Omeo magic, you can easily dispatch any enemy from a range distance. Kaisha also just comes with such a good special effects, like Life Drain Yokai ability hit, and faster movement speed, and retail absorption. For the third soul core, I'm using Onibi, Lightning Onibi, because none of these apply lightning. And Lightning ability also gives us elemental damage, so that's gonna boost our Omeo shots damage even further. For the secondary, I'm using Lightning God Soul Core to apply lightning. Gozuki just for the occasional stagger and horn break. And lastly, Will Monk for the memes and fire application. Lastly, let's move on to item allocation for your ninjutsu and Omeo. So for ninjutsu, all you want to get is 4 quick change scroll. That's exactly what 15 dexterity is for. And this is a super busted. Quick change is a super busted item because it's basically give you 4 revives for free. For the Omeo magic, you definitely want to get all the shots, elemental shots, 11 of them, since they're gonna be your main damage source, and also your elemental application from a range setting. I'm also running 2 barrier and 2 extraction. Extraction let us abuse the life recovery and retail absorption stat, giving us insane amount of healing. each time we attack an enemy with this buff on. And Barrier Talisman just give us good key recovery to let us continue aggression when we're in melee combat. Lastly, I'm also running 2 Lightning Talisman. It's gonna help us slow down enemy and apply lightning when we're in the melee range. Pretty handy. So this build is super powerful, and you can definitely dispatch an enemy really easily with this. You also notice that I have all my gears set to 170 plus 15. That's also just to show you that the build works without even being over leveled with a standardized level like plus 15. That's easily achievable in Dream the Demon. So this last segment is just gonna be a showcase of the build. For showcase purposes, I'm gonna be doing the Village of Curse Blossom on Dream the Wise. As you can see with the amount of swords on the side, this mission is super over leveled already, but this build is so strong that it even works in the next difficulty apart from Demon. And so I hope you enjoyed this showcase of the build. I'm also gonna be showing you how the general gameplay of this build that you're gonna take. So if you're gonna engage in melee combat, you want to pop quick change. You're gonna pop your extraction and barrier. And if you're in range, you could simply snipe enemy with your armor shots. You can also just use lightning to slow enemies down. Something like that, she's dead. So yeah, what you want to do is you want to pop your armor before you engage in combat. Apply elemental status as combat resistance. You'll notice that even though the enemy is super overwhelming, I'm barely taking any damage at all. Just because of the way I set it up.